What's going on, everybody? I'm Sam.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Nick.
I'm Jacob.
And together we are Baseball Juice. Today we are going to be drafting an entire team out of only outfielders. So we're going to be drafting an outfielder as a first baseman, second baseman, shortstop, you name it. For the sake of the game, we are not going to be drafting a pitcher. We will be drafting a DH. And the qualifications for our draft picks is each player that we draft has to have played at least 50% of their games in 2021 in the outfield. So we're going to go ahead and pass it over to Kyle and see where we're drafting.
Your draft order, this is a snake draft. Number 1, Nick. Number 2, Kyle. Number 3, Sam. Number 4, Jake.
That's clutch.
That is really clutch for Nick.
If I'm officially on the clock, I'm going to immediately take you through my thought process. Right out the bat, I'm looking for catchers, and I'm also looking for superstars with the number 1 pick. So I am going to go with a guy who actually was a catcher coming up, but he's still got it in him, and that is Bryce Harper. He will be my catcher.
What a great pick.
That is exactly who I wanted, so I would also agree that that's a great pick.
Sniped.
With the second overall pick, I'm also looking for a superstar. I don't care so much about the catching position. I just want the best player available on the board, and I'm taking Mike Trout to play center field for me.
There is nothing wrong with taking the best player in baseball with the number 2 pick. There's a lot of different directions I could go here. I could lock down the catching position because I know 100% if I don't, Jacob is definitely going to draft a catcher. There's a bunch of picks I like, which is why I feel comfortable going with a catcher here. So I'm going to take the second best catcher off the board with Kyle Schwarber.
Sam was correct in thinking that I was going to take him. There's only one other guy I know who can catch, and I don't want to be caught without him. Like Sam mentioned, there's a ton of really good picks. So I'm going to lock down Dalton Varsho.
Interesting. In the first round,
now.
Dalton Varsho is a first-round pick.
That was going to be my next pick.
There's only 3 catcher, and I don't want to be the one person without one. My next pick after that's going to be Mookie Betts. He's going to play...
Do it, Jake. Do it.
He's going to play second base.
Yeah,
Oh.
That's a great pick. He was going to be my next pick for sure. I think I'm getting the best hitter in the draft with this next pick. I am going to be filling out one of my outfield positions because I feel like I've got a few picks lined up for the infield now that I have the catcher locked up. So I'm going to go ahead and take Juan Soto. I'm putting him in left field. Kyle is on the clock with 0 catchers left because there were 3.
I didn't want to be that guy.
An advantage for Kyle now is he doesn't have to worry about that until the last pick of the draft.
All right. A man by the name of Ike Hernandez has played a couple games at shortstop. I'm going to lock up the shortstop position, which I think might be a tricky one coming down the pipe.
So my first of my 2 picks will be a guy who will play third base for me. You may think I'm going a certain way with this. I am going with Nicholas Castellanos.
Dang it! I wanted him so badly.
Former third baseman. He's had multiple seasons in like the mid-2010s of playing full seasons at third base. So I say he would be pretty competent there.
That's a great
So,
pick.
yeah, third baseman, Nick Castellanos. Okay, I'm picking for my right fielder, good old Ronnie Acuna.
I am going to take Ryan Reynolds to play left field.
Dang it!
Okay.
He is
Okay.
a beast.
He is as
He's a
underrated
stud.
as it gets. He's unreal.
He's a total stud.
Switch hitter, does it all, hits for power, hits for average, drives and runs, plays great defense. I mean, he is an elite center fielder in the game today. There's no doubt about it. That's a great pick. I was really hoping he'd fall back to me after Jacob's picks. Clearly that didn't happen. So I'm going to go ahead and lock up my shortstop position with Ketel Marte, all-star center fielder for the Diamondbacks. I see Jacob's reaction right now. I think I just sniped him.
I totally did.
Another switch hitter, played middle infield for a lot of his career. He's an elite player in the game as well. So I'm really happy with that pick. Jacob's got 2 on the turnaround here.
I'm going to pick a shortstop next for the same reason that I picked Varsho. I'm going to take Chris Bryant to play shortstop.
Okay.
Interesting.
He's definitely athletic enough too.
Second pick, I think I'm going to go with the best outfielder left on the board, pure outfielder. I'm taking Tyler O'Neill.
Kind of burst onto the scene last year.
He hits the ball so hard, man.
I'm really torn between 2 picks right now. I could either lock down my middle infielders and be really happy about it, or I can get who I think is the best player available to play his usual outfield spot. I'm going to go ahead and take Aaron Judge to lock down right field for me.
To play second base for me, I'm going to pick Lourdes Gurriel Jr. He's a pretty solid bat, one that I would like in my lineup.
These next two picks, I think, are really going to take my team from good to great. My first pick is a man who barely qualifies as an outfielder, which is the best kind of person for this draft. He played 89 games in the outfield last season, and he will be my shortstop, and his name is Chris Taylor.
Dang it. I was between him and Judge for my pick.
Oh, yes.
I kind of played myself and wished I'd taken him instead of Kike, but you live and you learn.
And then an absolute elite hitter, I would say maybe the most underrated hitter in the game right now. And he will play first base for me, and that man's name is Kyle Tucker.
Oh, Nick sniped me twice there.
For my right fielder, I'm taking Cedric Mullins. I'm surprised he made it this far. I've locked down my outfield, and I think I've got a pretty solid one, given that I can only draft outfielders.
Right. I'm going to go ahead and take who I think is the best defender left in the draft. Actually, maybe not the best, but definitely the best at this position. At third base, I'm going to take Joey Gallo, because he did used to play third base.
I really like this guy anyway. I think he's very underrated. Shohei fans don't like him very much. But I'm taking Mark Canha to play third. And then there's two really, really good center fielders left. Taking Luis Robert to play center.
I like it. I'm going to go ahead and take the injury risk that guy that I think Jacob was referring to. His name is Byron Buxton to lock down center field for me.
And that's who it was.
I want to see a full season out of him, man.
It took a while to put it together. He was very hyped coming up,
Mm-hmm.
and I think some people started sleeping on him, but man, has he figured it out. Let me just check before I embarrass myself. Oh, he has actually never played there? Screw it, I'm picking him. Mitch Haniger for first base.
That's okay. First base is the one space you can kind of just put anybody. Mitch Haniger is a personal favorite of mine. I love watching him play. All right, Nick's got 2 picks here.
That I do, buddy boy. So my positions left open are second base, left field, center field, and DH. And I don't have anyone in mind for that second base slot at the moment, so I might just kick that one down the road. I'm going to go ahead and fill out my outfield. And I will start by putting George Springer in center field and Starling Marte in left.
My remaining positions are third base, catcher, and designated hitter. I'm looking for someone that could fill the catcher spot, but I've never had a problem with kicking that can further down the road, so maybe thinking of filling that third base, but that's been a tough one as well. I'm taking this guy because I'm a fan of his. It's going to be one of the first head scratchers for a position, but I think it would work out all right. Teoscar Hernandez at third
Dang
base.
it! He was going to be my DH, Kyle.
Well, he was going to be my DH, Sam.
I was going to put him as my DH too, but
I
I
feel
wanted to
bad
see him.
because everyone wanted him, including myself. So
Yeah.
I was never going to get him.
He's a great
Okay.
hitter.
Yeah, that was a really good pick. I'm going to go ahead and lock down my second base position with who I think is the only player left who actually played second base. I'm going to go ahead and take Ian Happ over there.
I've got 2 picks in a row, right? One of them I know who it's going to be. Sam, I'm not going to lie. I thought you were going to take Garrett Hampson.
I do love Garrett Hampson.
At first base, he plays an excellent first base, actually. And he's a former MVP. And I don't care about last year because if he plays anywhere close to what he's supposed to be, he's one of the best players in the league. I'm taking Cody Bellinger to play first base.
That was my next pick, and I thought you were going to hate on me for it, so I'm really glad you took him, actually.
So
No, it
bold,
makes
Jacob.
sense. He actually plays an excellent first base. And
Yeah.
Jacob
when he's
is
right,
a Cody
he's
Bellinger clowner.
He is big time.
So that
he
is a
deserves
surprising
it.
pick.
He does
Because he
deserve
was
it.
he was babied by the LA market. If he was in New York, he would have been mercilessly. Oh my God, it would have been so bad.
That's a good pick.
That leaves me.
I mean, that might be a good pick.
Yeah, true. We'll see. We'll see how the season plays out.
At the very least, he's playing excellent first base, and he's picking all of the throws from Chris Bryant and Mark Canha.
You sure you don't want to watch Mitch Haniger pick the throws from Teoscar Hernandez?
I'm pretty sure, actually. I'm gonna take Randy Rosarena to DH.
Well, there goes my plan.
That guy was on my list.
I am also going to be drafting a DH with this pick. I'm going to take a guy who sucked with the Rays, lit it up with the Red Sox last year, has a cannon of an arm, but he's going to be just swinging the bat. I'm taking Hunter Renfroe at DH.
Him on the bench.
Him swinging the bat. He's not riding the bench.
He has a cannon. An
If-
That's what I'm
absolute
saying, like-
cannon of an arm.
That's a major weapon or tool just in the toolbox.
I mean, I've got Aaron Judge out there in right, so I'm still feeling pretty good about
I know,
that.
Matt, who do you have in left again?
Juan Soto.
See, if you were to switch Soto and Renfroe, I'd, like,
Yeah, true.
But that would have been pretty bold to pick Juan Soto and just slot him in at DH with your first overall pick.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt of being able to manage that lineup at some point during the season. All right, filling in my designated hitter, Jesse Winker.
I was picking between him and Randy.
I love that pick. All right, Nick is up with 2 picks, leading us into the final round.
I have second base and DH.
You guys are going to like my next pick.
You have to fill out a position player.
You guys are going to clown me.
Oh, it's catcher. He still has a
It's
catcher left.
Yeah.
Pick for my justification on this one.
If you sit there and tell me like Trent Grisham or something's gonna catch for you, I'm gonna laugh so hard.
I'm going to go ahead and put a young stud in my DH role. Adolis Garcia. Young stud, young man, hit over 30 home runs as a rookie last year.
20 of them through May.
Yeah, he fell off quite a bit towards the end of last year, but
Started striking out a lot.
when he's on, he's on.
I know my last pick, and I really hope he falls to me.
Yeah, I've got mine
Wait.
set up too.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to do it based on body type alone. A great defender, but I'm going to be putting him at second base, which is a position that he is just not familiar with whatsoever.
Who is it, Nick? Who's your last
But
pick?
you know what? Because he's a great defender, I think he'll adjust. I think he'll do fine. I am taking Harrison Bader.
He's athletic
You know what?
enough.
I'm not really not even mad at that.
I think he could play some second base.
You guys ready for this stretch of a lifetime?
I'm so pumped.
Yes.
So when I think of good skills in a catcher, I want someone who knows a pitching staff, who knows how the game of baseball is played, and can help manage a game.
He's about to set up some ridiculous statement here.
So I picked a guy who has over 1,600 games under his belt. That man is Brett Gardner, my starting catcher.
Good.
I would imagine
Lord.
catching is literally the last thing he wants to do on a baseball field.
That man probably has a 5-second pop time.
Keep in mind he's also left-handed, isn't
Dude.
he? The first lefty professional
That's for a
catcher.
lefty.
The umpire's not going to be able to call balls and strikes on account of his giant head blocking his view.
All right, so as Jacob referenced earlier, I have to task somebody at first base to catch Joey Gallo's cannon of an arm at third base. And I'm going to do that to one of my favorite players in all of baseball. As a Rays fan, I'm going to go ahead and take Austin Meadows and stick him over at first.
There's some conversation that the Rays will do that in real life, actually,
I mean, yeah.
which I wouldn't be opposed to it because Meadows is kind of a sitting duck out there when he plays in the outfield.
Yeah, and if Jordan Luplow and Nelson Cruz can play first, then I think Austin Meadows can too.
Oh yeah, anyone can play first.
Meadow has the hands for that.
I think so. I'm just going to... I mean, if Brett Gardner can catch, then Austin Meadows can play first.
I am
That's
the man
fact.
sitting in a glass house throwing stones right now.
All right, Jacob, what's your last pick?
I love this pick. In right field for me, I'm taking Christian Yelich in his bounce back season and playing him in right field.
You took Bellinger and Yelich.
Oh
I
my
took them
God.
both.
Wow.
Listen. I think Yelich is going to bounce back hard. I don't know about Bellinger, but I am counting on Yelich to bounce back at least.
Wow.
I think he will. I think he'll hit 900 OPS next year,
Okay.
and I'm taking that and putting him in right field.
Wow.
All right, so that concludes our draft. Let's go ahead and run through the teams real quick in order. We'll start out with Nick's team.
All right, so just going around the horn. At catcher, I have Bryce Harper. At first base, I have Kyle Tucker. At second base, I have Harrison Bader, natural second baseman. At third base, I have Nick Castellanos. At shortstop, I have Chris Taylor. Left fielder is Starling Marte. Center fielder is George Springer. And right fielder is Ronald Acuna Jr. And rounding it out at DH is Adolis Garcia.
Very nice. Kyle, what you got?
All right, I'm going to start off at the strength of my team, probably the greatest outfield of all time. Brian Reynolds in left, Mike Trout in center, and Cedric Mullins in right. It starts getting a little rockier after that. Teoscar Hernandez, my third baseman, who I think could adapt pretty well there. TK Hernandez at short. not Yuli, but Lourdes Gurriel Jr. at second, Mitch Haniger at first, Brett Gardner behind the dish, and Jesse Winker swinging the bat at the DH position.
I love it, man. I love it. All right, so I've got Kyle Schwarber catching for me. I have Austin Meadows at first, Ian Happ at second, Joey Gallo at third. I have Ketel Marte manning shortstop for me. I have Juan Soto in left field, Byron Buxton in center, Aaron Judge in right, and Hunter Renfroe swinging at DH for me.
Okay. Leading off, playing second base, I have Mookie Betts. Hitting right behind him is
He's
center
in our
fielder.
lineup, dude.
Center fielder, Luis Robert. Batting third, playing left field, Tyler O'Neill. Fourth, like I just said, I think he's going to be excellent at the plate next year. Christian Yelich playing right field. Batting fifth.
Christian Yelich fourth?
I'm that confident at going into next year.
Goodness,
Well,
okay.
we can come back to this in June.
This is
We
going
will.
on the internet, Jake.
We will.
Good. Good. I hope it stays there. Chris Bryant is playing short, and he's batting fifth. Playing third base and hitting sixth is Mark Canha. Batting seventh, DHing is Arozarena. Batting eighth, way less optimistic on this guy, is playing first base is Cody Bellinger. And rounding it out, catching is Dalton Varsho, my first pick.
Only at Baseball Juice are you going to find Dalton Varsho go in the first round here. We hope you guys had fun watching us. Let us know in the comments below who you think won that draft.